and then the sciences like computer science or IT or civil engineering and those things. Maybe your plan is that you work in a big IT firm or you go to Newmont and work there. So if I tell you that after your first degree, do master's degree, this man, what is he talking about? So what you do after uni or after school basically depends on what your plans are. What your plans are. So the first thing that I would advise that you do is that find people who are in that line of profession. If you are a civil engineering student, be friends with civil engineers professionals. Be friends with them. Find friends who are civil engineer practitioners and ask them how.
Can you come back a little for the
Oh, okay. And ask them how they got to where they are. Because I believe that the path to be an engineer profession is different from the path of being a nursing profession, maybe. So the first thing I would say is that be friends with people in your area of what specialization, and let them give you some tips and some little advice on how they got to where they are, so that you could also follow their path. It could be that what they tell you will not be exactly fit into your situation, but at least there will be something that you will learn from them. So if you are, I always use my profession as an example, an IT person, an IT student, please be friends with people who are already practicing IT in maybe in academia, in telecom, in finance, or whatever. Ask them how they got there, and they will help you. If you want to go to school, like some of us, when we finish our BSc, we have to go and do MSc and PhD. If that is your plan, then you have to start getting closer to those who have already walked that path, and they can give you the guidance on how they got there. There are thousands of scholarship opportunities out there if you want to go to school. You don't know how to solve these scholarship opportunities. When you get closer to people who have had scholarships before, they can give you the guidelines on how to get a scholarship in your area of profession that you want to go into. Okay, so please be friends with people that you know. Don't sometimes the anti-so thing will not help you. Media, quiet. No. In every profession, there's something you call building networks. Sometimes your biggest break in life will not be because you are too good. Though. It will be because you know somebody. It will be because you know somebody. So please don't limit yourself. Church is good, but find people outside in other places and then connect with them. Connect with them is very important. So that after school, you will be able to walk to their offices. There are some offices in Ghana here, I don't need appointment to go. I can just go there because I have people there, I have friends there, I have classmates there, I have church people there. Okay, so please connect with people. Connect with people from now. Make sure that you stay connected. The second thing I would advise you to do is that never stop learning. School may stop, but learning never stops. Yesterday, I was sitting here, I was writing. I wrote two sheets of notes from their two lectures. Today, I've written one more sheet. What am I doing? I'm learning. Never stop learning. Formal education ends, but learning never ends. In everything that we experience in this life, we can learn something out of it. Trust me, we can learn something out of it. So please never stop learning. If you have to do any other formal education after your first degree, go for it. In my field of practice, there are a lot of professional certifications. If you cannot do an MSc or an MPhil, you can do a professional certification course that will add a little value to your degree. So if there is a job opening and they say the minimum qualification is a degree in civil engineering, and then there are 1,000 people with the same degree, what sets you apart from them? Maybe if you have done extra, a little extra in terms of having some little certification, it will give you a little advantage over those people that you are competing with. So never stop learning because life itself is what? And it's a continuum. What you learn today, you use it tomorrow, use the next day, and so forth and so on. So never stop learning. Never stop learning. And then the last one I will tell you is that please, in all things, seek God's direction. Very important. I always use the story of Jesus and, and the fisherman who later became his disciples. These are experienced fishermen. Maybe all their life they have been fishing. So they know everything about fishing. What can you teach Peter about fishing? He knows everything already. But there was a day that they went fishing. Hey, these people have done all their tricks and everything. They didn't catch any fish. Hey, and then they are about. So what do? Jesus appeared on the scene, and Jesus told them, "Cast your net to this side." They casted their net, and wow, they caught fish that they have never caught before. So divine direction is always important. You may have your own desires, you may have your own plans. For me, when I was in third year in my BSc program, thankfully I discovered what I wanted to do in the future. I right from level 100, there's always confusion. What do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I? Thankfully for me, in my third year, I discovered that I want to be a teacher. Okay, I want to be a teacher. So after my first degree, the path was clear for me that I have to get more education before I can be where I want to be. But then, seeking direction from God is the ultimate. I didn't know which university I would go, which country I would go, and all of that. But I pray that God take me to where you have prepared for me and give me what you have prepared over there for me. Like the disciples or the fishermen, they casted their nets and they caught fish. And then, and you know the good thing is that their nets didn't break. Upon the abundance of fish that they caught, their net didn't break. Because you'd expect that because they caught so much fish, they can't even pull it out, the net will break and the fishes will go back into the river and then their work will be in vain. But the fishes that they caught, the net didn't break. It tells you that if you seek God's direction, whatever that He gives you, he will give you the capacity to contain it. He will give you the capacity to be able to do whatever that He has given you. So if God directs you to go into further education, if God says that go and get that master's degree, God will provide. God will give you the capacity to learn. He will give you the means to pay for the fees and everything. So please seek God's direction. It's very important. Sometimes when we talk about some of these things, if you haven't experienced it, you will not know how it's like. I have experienced God's direction in my life so many times. So I know exactly how it feels like. So let me use 3 minutes to tell you my personal story. I I went to SHS through the CMB scholarship because my parents couldn't afford to take me to SHS. So my uncle, who who was a cocoa farmer, used his cocoa farm and his whatever to get me a CMB scholarship. So I went to Opoku High School on a CMB scholarship. When I finished Opoku High School, I was at home for 4 years. No money to go to university. My mates went to university and graduated. I was still at home. No money to go to university. But I I I want to go to school. What do I do? I was there just moving around, learning software, learning how to use Microsoft Word, how to use Excel, going to one computer school or there because I wanted to study computers. So I just went to one computer school and the other. Now I want to get a degree, but no money. I've been in school, I've been at home getting to 5 years. As I said, my mates have graduated. I'm still at home. What do I do? One day, one of my uncles, who was then in Canada, called my mom, and then he asked my mom about me. What is this boy doing? He said, "Oh, he's at home. Oh. He's just studying computer this because he says he wants to do computer." I said, he's at home. How? Why? And and then he passed the SSC. Oh, he passed. The results were very good. But there's no money to take him to university. Then my uncle called again and he spoke to me. I told him what I want to do. He said, go to Legon and buy forms for your degree. I went to Legon and said, oh, we are finished selling forms. The new students are even coming to school next week. Hey, I said, I told my uncle, I said, uncle, I need you school when you're I said, then, see me call you almost forms and you're telling you say, bad, then I'm saying, minimum. So I met a friend and I was discussing things. Oh, and you can go to private university as a master. I went to private university and a private in a I should go to private university with what money? I told my uncle and said, are they still selling forms? I said, yes. He said, he sent me money. He said, go and buy the form. I will pay your school fees. Hey, I I told him, uncle, it's private university. Oh. He says, go and buy the form. I went and bought the forms. For the 4 years that I was in school, my parents didn't even know how much my school fees was. So now they don't know. They don't know how much I paid every year. My the fees for my hostel, they don't know. They didn't bother to know because my uncle paid everything from level 100 to level 400. It means that the direction that I had desired to be, God was gradually taking me there. I finished my BSc after staying home for almost 5 years. I'm, I'm already getting old. All my mates somewhere. Right after I finished the university, I met one of my mates from SHS. He was working at MTN. Hey, MTN is already driving a car. And some are GCB, some are here. Hey, I've just finished school, Charlie. So I prayed to God that God, I have discovered that this is what I want to do. And I want to have a master's degree and a PhD. And I want it to be like a sponsor because my SHS was scholarship, my BSc was paid for by my uncle. So if I have to continue, it means that I have to get scholarship. If not, I can't continue. So I pray to God that God, if this is your will, give me a university that will give me scholarship. I started searching. I didn't even know where I would get. One day, my uncle sent me a link. He says these people they publish some information about um, available scholarships. So just look at it. I looked at it. I put my email there, and they started sending me emails every day. Sending emails. Sending emails. I will sit down, look through it, and then I will see those that I qualify. Then I'll apply. I apply like 100, nothing. They will not respond, nothing. Hey, it's a day, then I will do, I'll send, I will send, I will send. I'll go sit at some cafe. Then I'll be sending application, send, nothing. Hey, after already spent almost 2 years at home after graduation, nothing. One day I was there, and then one university sent me an email that we have seen your application and blah blah blah, but no scholarship. I said, hey, no, sir. Me, I can't pay. Next one came, we will give you admission, but you have to apply for scholarship. And every semester you have to reapply for the scholarship. And I asked myself, hey, so if I reapply and I don't get, what happens? So I said, I don't want. Then my mother said, ah, you don't want? I said, I don't want. I don't want this one. I want full scholarship. Okay. Then I was still at home. Then a third email came. A university in South Korea. Hey, South Korea, Quantin. They said, we will give you admission and scholarship. Ah, you should come and see. God, thank you. I'm happy. The next thing, get visa. I went to embassy. They say we will not give you visa. When we look at you, when you go, you not come back. No, that is the reason they wrote for the name the scholarship. They wrote in pen that when you, there's no proof that when you go, you come back. So we will not give you. Aye. They wrote in pen or in pen. There's no proof that when you go, you come back, so you will not give the scholarship. I said, oh God. I sent an email to the university that I can't come because the embassy says this. The university, we will give you a letter to take to the embassy. They sent me the letter. I went to the embassy. They gave me the visa. Hey God! Now I can do my masters. So I come to South Korea, new country, new language. The food is not like Ghana food. Hey, and also another palara. And they don't speak English. Their food, hey, Charlie, soup with soup with sugar in it. They say it's soup. You have to drink. All that I want to say is that as much as you have your desires, as much as you have the plan of what you want your future to be, please and please seek God's direction. Because if God is the one who is asking you to cast your net, you will not cast and the net will be empty. You will catch the fish, and then he will give you the capacity to contain whatever that he has given you. Because ordinarily the net should have broken, but the net didn't break. So God will take you there. He will give you whatever that you need to be able to sustain. Look, if you are a nurse and God's will is that you go to UK like they are all doing, you will go. Nobody can stop you from going. But if it's your desire by force, maybe God wants you to stay in Ghana, but you there, you want to go to UK by force. You'll be frustrated. You'll not be able to go. Then you stop going to church. God is not. Somebody will say that some of us are God's stepchildren. God loves his children, and we the step ones, he doesn't care about that. Yeah. Stepchildren. Some of us are God's stepchildren. So please, all that I want to say is that what you want to do after school depends on what you are planning for yourself. But most importantly, from my experience, connect with people. build networks. It's very important. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. I used to carry a paper, I used to carry a small notebook and a pen everywhere I go. These days, I don't do it anymore because I carry a smartphone and then a tablet. The tablet has a pen. Anytime any stupid idea comes to my mind, I write it down. When my professor once told me that the most advanced things we see now were once stupid ideas that people had. But today, they are saving the world. So anything that, I'll just write it down and then I will search for it. Please never stop learning. It's very important. Okay. And in all things, seek God's direction. From my experience, if you see God's direction, He will always take you to where He wants you to be. So please, this is the summary of what I want to tell you. That let God lead you in everything that you want to do. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask so that I can leave and go and teach my students. If there are no questions, then thank you for saving me. I'm going to teach. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.